Hello, y'all. I've been looking at stuff, been talking to people and everything, but I noticed something last night. Nobody paid attention to it. Did you know Joe Biden, our president, has been making war on oil for a long time? He jumped the gun. He should have just did what Obama said and what Trump said. This fact is fact. Biden said, setting Putin war to push green energy into the UK. Joe Biden said Russia and the Ukraine is, and on other reasons why we have to get off our independence of fossil fuels. Think about it. Europe was in fact energy free of fossil fuel. What would it look like? I'm trying to figure that out. Him telling us that he's wanting to get off fossil fuel because he can't get no oil from Saudi Arabia that much, except what they want to give us, and they're working a deal with China. We're talking about currency. That's why I said you had to watch Wall Street. See, I'm looking at actually what I say asset bubbles. You know what an asset bubble is? Like stocks, bonds, property. That bubble, the asset bubble is bumping. That's why you keep seeing Wall Street jumping all over the place. But then I started looking at how he spend his money trying to start a war. And you keep telling us we need to go ahead and get them battery cars and stuff without having a battery stations all over the United States, without having a ton of cars out in the United States. That's telling me right there he don't know what the hell he's doing. And then you got to go back to March the 10th at a $5 trillion honorary bill to save Congress and them. They did it at night where nobody could certain vote, so mainly, you know, the Democrats going to vote, 63-31. And then you got this in today, which is actually a consolidated approval of medical drugs, going to be run by DAPA, which DAPA is actually military. So why is he doing that, knowing that he ain't looking at the Wall Street area? See, what nobody's paying attention to is that I looked at all that. I went back all the way to 2021. Just 2021, I sat there and could actually tell you exactly, and I'll actually even show you. You see this right here? This will be a whole bunch of dots. That's 1 billion. When you get each dot, it becomes here. Let me read it out to you. You can always look it up at the Data Lab USA, spendinggovernment.com. Spending of 2021, government spending is at $6.82 trillion in 2021. Total dots would be around 818 dots. That is times $1 billion, totaling it out to $6.82 trillion. So that's $82 trillion on the dot when you look at it. You see what I'm saying? When you look at it, you notice that dot, and then you see where it goes, and then it tells you right here, this is what it is. No one's paid attention to it. Come down to it, then you got that 5 trillion that he did in March. So you got to add that to your 30 trillion. So that makes it $35 trillion. He ain't even looking at the Wall Street area. Okay, why I kept telling certain people about we're gonna go in a food shortage. Well, here's the main reason. Right there's the main reason. Look at that fertilizer keep jumping. Let me put it out to you. Fertilizer for farmers and products. Just for your fertilizer, 2008, price jumped 75%. 2020, price jumped again at 210 cents. 2021, it jumped again, 118%. Liquid oxide, 2008, it jumped 68%. 2020, it jumped 159%. 2021, 84%. When you do the ballpark figure, it comes out to around 650 per cubic ton That is over 100% in cost. And then you start now. The farmers are looking at stuff. Now, let me give it to you how these corn farmers are. They're not. There's a lot not going to be growing nothing in North Carolina. The main reason is the fertilizer. They can't afford it. They can't afford the other stuff neither. And then when they decided to go corn and soybeans, well, they found a shortage there. So they just said, well, let's do the math on it. And I'm going to do the math for you. 600 pounds of fertilizer per acre, a bonus of 50 gallons of liquid nitrate, times 10,000 acres is a total of $40,000. So that's just fertilizer. $40,000. Ain't no way you can do it. No one's paying attention to it. What you're going to come out to that no one's paying attention to is what I was telling you, an asset bubble. Nobody wants to look at an asset bubble. Well, an asset bubble comes with stocks, bonds, and property. And it's going to crash. So you got to think about it. You're going from an inflation, you might end up in a deep depression. You start doing the math. But then you got to remember what Joe said. He's already making war on oil, period. He wants his green energy deal, period. And how he said it was Joe Biden said Russia and Ukraine is another reason why we have to get off independent of fossil fuel. And think about it, y'all. If Europe was independent of fossil fuel, how would it look like? That's his Green Deal slogan to Europe. To us, go buy a battery car, go buy a battery truck. But you got to remember, he hadn't upgraded the power grid. He's not even upgraded the power grid. And he hadn't also had a massive produce of cars yet. You need to think about it. So when I sit there and say, hey, an acid bubbles, I mean acid bubbles worldwide, from stock to bonds to property, will crash. Because the only thing he's thinking about is climate change and the Green Deal. He wants a Green Deal. He don't give a shit about how much fertilizer is going to cost. He ain't going to care about you eating, you trying to get to work. The only thing he's thinking about is his green energy deal. So prices are going to go up. He made war on the oil companies and all the other oil nations because he could not upgrade his power grid. And then you got to think about it. He needed to upgrade them. But you need to think about that damn money that he spun out last year that you're feeling the effects of. 2021 government spending is $6.82 trillion. Go to lab.usaspendinggov.com. You want to see that 2021 government spending $6.82 trillion? The only thing you got to do is go to data lab USA spending government.com. Repeat it. Data lab USA spending government.com. And you will see the 2021 government spending $6.82 trillion. And that's why everything's gone up. And he's going to push his gold deal. He wants that green deal. You better think. You're going to see an asset bubbles all over the place in stocks, bonds, and property. In less than a year, you might be in a deep depression. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.